3 more. There are only 3 more videos of FEDA, the Emblem of Justice. You'll have to forgive me if I'm excited for the ending. It's just, this has been going on a good long while, and I have too much going on with me at once. But heck, let's just focus on Chapter 10. Resetsu's out of the picture, and the Empire is down to just one region in the entire peninsula that they control. There's a growing worry that this will eventually push Cobalt to unleash the Executor, but so far he doesn't look crazy enough to actually do it. Not yet, anyways. Meanwhile, the Liberation Army is talking everyone's favorite subject, politics.
One-Eyed Pope, we need to appease our Balformian overlords by electing someone who is the same race as them.
Wow, I didn't know becoming a president was this easy. But shouldn't we do something about the nuke disguised as a sword?
That's what our Suicide Squad, 3rd Guerrilla Unit is for.
So on the way to the next town, we get involved in a skirmish with some Empire forces conveniently occupying the town so they can serve as an introductory battle. You can use the forested area right in front of you as a defensive line, as it will boost attack and defense if you're standing on it. This is not a tough enemy group otherwise, just watch the Necromancer, he's dangerous. So our first shop in town is the Stop. Wait a minute. This is a pretty basic shop with patrol packs, mind repairs, and new weapons for a number of characters including Arby, Stinger, Dora, and for whatever reason you can once again purchase soul stabs, even though there's literally no point to it. Some new swords and axes are there too. Shane or Ryokan, if he's with you, can also pick up a new spear, the Iron Pilum. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is the only spear in the game to have a range of 3, and it's usable only by the characters I just mentioned. 3 range is pretty epic, and I'm absolutely certain this weapon will not bite me in the ass later on. In one of the houses, we happen upon an old man who really wants to exposit a legend about the nearby mountain, and talks about how there's a dragon living up there that is associated with the legendary Sword of Skuld. That's right, we've conveniently stumbled into a town near a mountain where there lives a dragon who has something to do with the Executor. Wow, how blatantly obvious and convenient. And so Brian and McDougal decided to take a short detour up there to see Puff the Magic Dragon, because there's nothing better to do until Komei gets here. Oh no, it's that stupid song again. That can only mean one thing. We're in for a horrendous and awfully boring fight. And lo and behold, we must get all of our units up that mountain through the pointlessly winding path without killing all the enemies who are going to whack us a bunch as we get up there. God damn it, FEDA! You were doing splendidly for several maps just now, then this happens. Well, you know what? I've had enough of this. You know what I'm going to do? Yep, killed them all, and I don't care. It hasn't even dropped my rank. So we hit a dead end, and it looks like we've been chasing a red herring, but Cannoli saves our butts yet again and uses magic to reveal the secret passageway. Yet another scene Cannoli pulls through for us. Why is this girl so important? It's like every time an obstacle that can't be solved by force, she's there to solve it with magic. You'd expect some big revelation concerning her, but as far as I know, she's just a girl. A really great girl, mind you. I didn't mean to imply anything like that. So we finally meet Puff the Magic Dragon, who looks nothing like a dragon. Seriously, that's a wolf, not a dragon. Well, he gives us the usual warning that the dangerous tactical nuke must not be used by evil, and tells us to get it back, and gives Brian the power to use the sword, I guess. What was even the point of that detour? Well, we get back to town, and Komei is not happy we just skipped town for a side battle, and gives us the next mission. We're going to charge the capital city of the peninsula, and on the way there, we're going to challenge Flair of the 4 Commodores. Sweet, we're moving at a good pace again! Naturally, there's more fighting on the way up to Flair's castle. As a necromancer herself, she's whipped up a large army of undead, and they hit hard. Fortunately for this first group, destroying the necromancers in the back will end the zombie apocalypse before it gets sticky, and that's more than a snap now that the fastest moving flying unit in my army just got a boost to his range. Not much to say about this one. The zombies barely scratch the units they're magnetically attracted to, so the usual song and dance applies here. Surrounding the castle are 3 enemy groups. They're all woefully generic, but luckily you only have to eliminate the one in the center to make it to the castle, making me question what the point of all this is. All 3 groups will lower your rank if you beat them, and you have to defeat at least one of them. What exactly is the game trying to do with these guys anyways? Well, they're simple enough to destroy, so let's move past this before I fall asleep. We enter Chateau Hades, that's seriously what it's called, and find that we have another group of guards we must destroy, and bizarrely enough, these ones don't count against your score. The castle terrain actually makes your flyers highly effective here, and the big choke point is helpful for ranged units to pick enemies off. In fact, you can probably attack the mages with Shane from behind the fence where they can't even get away from you, and Stinger's combat art will clear away the weak zombies in a flash. There's no way they have enough health to resist. Flare then appears and attempts the same Illusion World trick as she did back in the forest, and promptly gets into a jousting match with McDougal. And they aren't exactly using spears. To get through this map, you have to hold fast for several turns, while images of Flare attack you with very real magic spells. Hide in the corner and take out each one as it approaches. The Flare clones don't have a huge amount of health, but they can hit hard if they sneak attack the wrong unit. 6 turns later, and I guess it's Cannoli to the rescue, but the mission just ends and we move on. There must be missing dialogue. I'm pretty sure they mean to imply she's the one breaking Flare's illusion trick here, but they don't really come out and say it. Now it's time for the fight against Flare herself. There are plenty of enemies between you and her, but don't worry, Flare's actually pretty aggressive, and will charge right for you past her own defenses. Right. Having a magic shield user in the party will help greatly. You can guard against Flare's own spells, and dogpile her once she gets in your range. There are, of course, flying enemies that are probably a good idea to deal with, and apparently we're being attacked by former Vice President Al Gore. I guess he never got over the whole global warming thing, but hey, maybe Cannoli can provide the solution. Frost magic! Eventually, you'll be up against Flare herself. Now, Flare is resistant to all kinds of magic, so you'll want to... Oh. Actually, she goes down in about 2 combat arts. And she does have an area of effect curse spell that will stun your units, but hey, aren't I lucky? She managed to miss McDougal, so it looks like he gets the final hit on this lady. Well, that was rather anticlimactic, though I suppose it was tougher than Resetsu. As soon as she's killed, she activates the self-destruct sequence, Metroid style. The team spends a rather lengthy amount of time talking before we're all whisked out of the map and taken to safety to watch the castle explode, presumably from atop a large cliff like the ending to a Castlevania game, and I have no idea why I'm still dragging out the rest of this cutscene and talking about nothing. And hey, that concludes Chapter 10, rather unceremoniously, I might add. But look on the bright side, only 2 more of these to go, and they're not the longest in the game either. You know, that was actually a rather short chapter. I bet we could squeeze in another one in this video. Alright then, let's do it. This is it, boys and girls. Are you ready for the second to last chapter of FEDA, the Emblem of Justice? Boy, oh boy, we've come a long way. The Liberation Army has come a long way. But now it's time for a pretty climactic showdown the game's been building up towards, I think. Honestly, I feel like the writer kind of forgot about it. I'm beginning to wonder if there was some massive push to rush the game out the door, but FEDA isn't big enough for the devs to get interviewed, so who knows. Anyways, the big news is that, at long last, Balformia has officially acknowledged the Liberation Army and is now going to pull out of the peninsula and grant it autonomy. Not quite the true freedom the Liberation Army was hoping for, but it beats having Cobalt and the Executor looming over us, right? Yeah, about that. Cobalt hasn't left the building, and the Balformians have discharged him rather than pull him out of the peninsula. That's right, they're too afraid they can't control him, so they basically just made him a problem for us instead of them. They probably figure if they try to control Cobalt, he'll just blow them all to hell, so they're hoping he does that to us instead. Hey guys, I think Balformia might be evil. Isn't that such a shocker? Oh, and by the way, your camp storage has a new weapon for McDougal for seemingly no reason at all. It's the second strongest weapon in the game, but by this point you're probably spamming his combat art. Doesn't hurt to have it anyways. Anyhow, after a routine check on the shop for potential new weapons, I stumbled upon a house that had an invisible radio in it. Apparently people weren't allowed to have radios until now. How the hell was anyone getting the news? And isn't the radio perfect for spewing propaganda? Big missed opportunity, Cobalt. Anyways, the radio message isn't that interesting. But wait, the radio lady mentions the word FEDA. What is she talking about? We haven't heard anything about FEDA in-universe. As far as we know, it's an arbitrary rank in the game's scoring system. Someone please help me understand this mess of a narrative. Maybe a fight will fix this. Time for the first battle! You just have to eliminate a pair of Pegasus enemies, the toughest in the game so far, but they are flyers, so the usual strategy applies. Drag them in and knock them out of the sky. The Mark Trooper is an upgrade to the Ken Trooper. Watch out for those guys, they mean business. The only reason I'm not using L to cast the Magic Shield, protecting my units from their combat arts, is because I mistakenly thought the Magic Shield was for magic only and not physical combat arts. Oopsie. Round 2 features the music I hate so much and tasks us with killing another pair of mages that just sit there until you're in range. Perfectly fine with me. My best flyer has 3 range, so this is no trouble whatsoever. Look at him go! That Shane, he gets critical hits from the maximum distance. He'd be banned at the Olympics for sure. If this place had Olympics anyways. What exactly lets the spear attack from so far anyways? Oh well, it's time for the other mage to... Wait, what happened? Super critical? What? It's a super critical, yet it does less damage? So yeah, I forgot to mention the Iron Pylum has a small chance to take an enemy down to 1 HP. What I forgot is that this still happens even if the regular attack would have killed its target anyways. What is this game? Okay, now we have another stupid level where you have to get everyone to the goal point, which is right in front of the gate. Luckily, most of the enemies are stationary gun turrets that cannot move out of that tiny little area, and so once the 3 actually moving enemies are dealt with, you just have to avoid the guns and make sure nobody gets into their range. Simple, easy, not hard at all. Just don't get into the range of 2 cannons at once and you're safe. We're indoors now, and it's time to storm the castle, which is big and wide open, and the enemies are spread way out. I think you're expected to group up in front of the stairs. I don't remember, nor do I care. I want out of this map finally. Unfortunately, Shane bit the dust in that last map, so I have to play this without the stupid 3-range spear. But you can still hit enemies over the ceiling and the roof with your other spear users, and if you keep them healed up, you can take out the Ken Troopers here faster than if you spend time moving everyone around the walls and junk. Anything to make this just end already! In the next room, finally Tusk and Brian meet face to face. Tusk is entirely unwilling to hand over the Executor despite how dangerous the weapon is, and challenges Brian to a one-on-one duel for possession of the sword. Like a moron, Brian accepts. Why is Tusk loyal to Cobalt again? If he was loyal to Resetsu, that shouldn't be an issue because the guy is dead, but... oh, never mind. This is the big moment. A duel to the death fated from the start. This is it. Brian versus Tusk. So yeah, if Brian's not leveled up enough, that fight might be impossible, but if you're this far in and he's not strong enough, then you must be doing something horribly wrong. Oh, and killing Tusk counts against your rank, by the way. So yeah, it turns out Tusk hates Brian entirely because of a romance-related misunderstanding. Good lord, these are some of the worst villains I've ever seen. Interestingly enough, there's an unused battle with Tusk in Chapter 3, but it's been cut from the final game. Just thought that was worth a mention. Well, with him gone, at least we get the Executor, right? My god, can you imagine if Tusk had just handed it over and joined us? We could have fought Cobalt together, become friends again, gone home to Lucia, and since we have the sword, I guess Cobalt's not really a threat anymore. But oh well, I guess we can kill him anyways for fun. Next time, we set off on the final battle of the entire game.